Now, week 10 in the NFL, Monday Night Football, all AFC clash as the Baltimore Ravens head into Miami to take on the Dolphins. Tom Carnduff of Sporting Life has joined me again this week to give us his best bet builder. Remember, we have got a free bet of one of your selections. Let you down in the bet builder. So what have you got for us this week, Tom?
Yeah, it's the Baltimore Ravens at the Miami Dolphins. I'm taking Baltimore on the -7.5 handicap. Lamar Jackson to go over 64.5 rushing yards. Mark Andrews to be an anytime touchdown scorer. And Jalen Waddle to go under 61.5 receiving yards. About 9.9 to 1 at the moment.
Yeah, just 10 to 1 or so we'll give you for that one. So first up, Baltimore Ravens -7.5. And now one of the oldest sayings in gambling in the NFL is always take the home side after getting a touchdown plus start. But you're going against this, Tom. Why do you think that Baltimore will do this?
Yeah, this is probably one of the tougher ones, actually. It's a pretty intriguing handicap line, this one, but 6-2 Ravens against the 2-7 Dolphins. The Ravens defense has been questionable. We've got to chuck that in there, but I think their strength and attack can get the better of this Miami defense. I know the Ravens are probably, they're just one of just two teams who are allowing more passing yards per game than the Dolphins so far, but the likelihood of Brissett being the starting Dolphins quarterback, I think it's a tough one. It's kind of a game-by-game decision, but I gamble on him being the starting quarterback means that I'm not viewing it as much of a problem for the Ravens to take the -7.5. So I'm going to back them to cover a touchdown and a little more in this one.
Okay, that is the start. We're going with Baltimore to cover this. They should be too good for the Dolphins. Just a question of whether that line, if they can cover it. Next, it's over to Lamar Jackson. The man, he won the MVP. He continues to divide opinion. I don't know why, but his rushing yards, you're going to go over 64.5. What makes you think that he's going to go over that line?
Yeah, it's an incredible difference from last week's over 9.5 for a certain quarterback. But I'm going for this. He just loves to run with the ball. We know this. He plays for a team that's averaging the most rushing yards per game this season. He's averaging 75 per game. That's 46% of Baltimore's total rushing yards have come from the quarterback. It's a line that's won comfortably in their last two games. He's combined for 208 rushing yards in those contests against the Bengals and the Vikings. Yeah, so I'm more than happy to take the 64.5 line here.
Yep. So Lamar over 64.5. Now, I was looking at the anytime touchdown scorer markets, and it's dominated by Baltimore players. So what has made you single out Mark Andrews as the most likely anytime touchdown scorer for the Ravens?
Yeah, my original bet builder had Brown in this one, but I did see he was estimated as limited on Monday at the practice there. So I'm going to go for Mark Andrews to score anytime to add a bit of value to this bet. It does bump it up towards that 10 to 1 marker. He's put up 560 yards of 42 grabs, 3 touchdowns this season as well. He's also been targeted 61 times and his average of 70 yards per game. But it does mean that his target shares 22% of their total passing attempts this season, which I think is pretty decent. So at the prices available, I'm going to gamble on Andrews, particularly with a question marker around Brown's availability in this game.
And for the final part of this bet builder, we're going over to the Dolphins, and it doesn't sound like you think they're going to have a good game. Jalen Waddle, a rookie who's doing all right, I suppose, but you think he's going to go under 61.5. So explain why.
Yeah, this is, again, the free bet activated in recent weeks. The one leg that could let it down. It could be the Jalen Waddle one for me in this one. But 61.5, I just think is a little bit high, particularly when we look at that Miami quarterback situation at the moment. We're not entirely sure who's going to be there on Thursday night. And for that alone, the 61.5 looks a little high to me, even with the Ravens' efforts against the pass on the whole this season. But we'll come to that very shortly. The overs line for him, if he went 61.5, it would have only won in 3 of his 9 outings so far this season, but 2 of those were against fellow strugglers, the Texans and the Jaguars as well. It's also probably worth mentioning that we spoke about the Ravens and their average passing yards against this season, but they've allowed fewer than 200 passing yards in 4 of their last 6 games. So it's not exactly been the highest. And yeah, for me, I think the 61.5 line is just a bit too high. If it was any lower, maybe I'd half consider it a bit more. But for me, I'm going to go under 61.5 in this game to make up the bet builder.
So there it is. It's Tom Carnduff's best bet builder for the Thursday night game. Baltimore taking on the Dolphins. Don't forget about our insurance here. We'll have a free bet if one of your selections let you down. And Tom's bet builder for this game, it's Baltimore Ravens -7.5 in the handicap. Lamar Jackson, his rushing yards to be over 64.5. And in the anytime touchdown scorer markets, it's Mark Andrews, the tight end for the Baltimore Ravens. And finally, Jalen Waddle, the Miami Dolphins wide receiver, his receiving yards to be under 61.5. That is Tom Carnduff's best bet builder for Thursday Night Football in Week 10 in the NFL.